It's a great day to be alive and an artist. My name is Matt with the Hat, and today in our Audition series, we are going to talk about our next guidepost, which is Find the Events. So what do I mean about finding the events? Way back in the olden times, back before most people realized that theater existed, we had the Greeks. And there was this guy, and his name was Aristotle. We've heard of him, right? And Aristotle wrote something called Poetics. And in Poetics, he created the plot diagram that is pretty much identical to what you have in English today, right? It's that we start at the beginning, we have exposition, right? Then something kicks the thing off, which is, in the theater, I call it the point of attack. A lot of people call it different things else. And then from that point of attack, the point of attack is the moment after which nothing else will ever be the same again, okay? And then we start our rising action, okay? And it's filled with different events that impact the plot, right? Rising action at the top of that rising action is our climax, right? And that is the height of our conflict. Remember, conflict is the essence of all drama, which was our, second guidepost. Then we start our falling action, which then, how you're taught in English, goes into resolution. But in the theater, it's called denouement, which is kind of like the new normal, right? Because everything doesn't always resolve itself, but we get to a place where after that event happened, after we've gone through all of the events of the show, we now have a new normal. So why am I telling you this about an audition? Well, first of all, if you are doing a monologue, you need to read the script. You need to know that script, and you need to know what's going on in that play. Right? You hear oftentimes, especially in like Marvel movies and things like that, how frustrating it can be for the actors to not know what's going on because of all the secrecy. Now, they're pros, they've got a lot of experience, but they're going to do better if they have a script to read, if they can understand the characters, okay? Not always are you going to have that luxury, but while you're beginning, you need to read that script, okay? And you need to know the events of the story, because that's how you're going to know the given circumstances. That's how you're going to know, oh, this happened before. Oh, all the things that we've previously discussed in our monologue. But here's the other reason we're talking about the events, is because within each monologue, within each scene, are many events, okay? So a scene may have one major event, and these are like, we could say the action is really kicked off in Romeo and Juliet when they meet at the party, right? So we're learning about the Capulets and the Montagues, then boom, this is the point of attack for Romeo and Juliet. They see each other, they meet, right? And then every other thing is a major event. So they meet. One of our next major events is that because Tybalt saw him at the party, he wants to, they get married. Tybalt wants to fight Romeo. Tybalt kills Mercutio. Romeo kills Tybalt. Romeo is banished, and we can keep going. And these are these major events. But within that, there's the escalation of the action, right? So they meet, Romeo and Juliet get married, but in between that, we've got the battle of wills with the nurse and Juliet. We've got we've got the friar strategizing on everything going on. And so these are what I would call the mini events, right? And your scene is full of them. And your monologue is full of them. And these events are things that help to propel you towards greater conflict, help to propel you to raise your stakes, help to propel you towards change. Because let me be clear, if you are saying a monologue that is 1 minute long, we don't just speak because of nothing. Something is happening. And we've got to figure it out. And we've got to find the events. If you're doing a scene, let's say you are in a scene with a partner, you're playing chess, you're using that communication and competition guideposts, and you're competing in the scene, and both of you are trying to win and all of that. Well, the events are going to make things bigger. The events are the happening. They're the moments within the scene. They're the moments within the monologue that cause the conflict to increase, right? And what you're going to do is by finding the events, it's going to help you clarify how to build towards those events, right? How to tell the story, because your main function as an actor is to tell the story. All right. And when you know those events and when you have those events, it makes your monologue that much better. I do want to say sometimes while we are performing, we discover those events. So those events can be discoveries. They can be a whole lot of other different things. But it is absolutely essential when you are looking at that monologue, when you are looking at that scene, when you are looking at that play, to understand the structure of the scene so that you can make your retelling of it, you can make your telling of it more and more interesting, and have more conflict, and that you can build it towards what the story deems necessary. All right. I hope this helped you. You are amazing. I know that if you apply these skills to your monologue, it's going to make you better and better and better. Keep making art. Have a beautiful day and rock it.